ordinary meeting of Mount Isa City Council. Mount Isa City Council acknowledges the Kalkadoon and Injilidji people, traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Please note this ordinary meeting of Mount Isa City Council will be live streamed and recorded in accordance with Council's recording of meeting policy. As a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. By remaining in chambers, it is assumed your consent is given if your image is inadvertently broadcast. I'd like to thank Pastor Matteo for coming in today. He's from the United Church, and I'd like to invite him to provide the opening prayer.
Sorry, Pastor, I'll just get Tish to do the microphone because you won't hear it on the live stream otherwise.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Almighty and gracious God, as we come before you today to discuss important matters, your own understanding, in all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Father God, bless the City Council leaders and community members who gather here this morning, as well as the staff and the officers, including those on the ground making the city look beautiful. Help our councillors to listen attentively to one another with open hearts and minds. May they not be quick to judge or criticize, but instead seek to understand different perspectives. I pray that you will give them the discernment to make the best decisions for the greater good of our Mount Isa community. I trust that you will guide them on this path and lead them to reach a consensus that reflects your will. May our words and actions be guided by your love and grace. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
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 Thank you, Pastor Matteo.
Thank you.
I would like to move that the apology received from Councillor Dan Ballard be accepted and leave of absence granted for today's ordinary meeting. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Second, Tully.
Oh, Tully.
Thank you, Councillor Tully. All in favour? Carried. I'd now like to hand over to the Deputy Mayor to run public participation. Thank you.
Just before we do our casual for a cause, I'd just like to thank Pastor Matteo for coming in today and doing the prayer, but I'd like to also thank you for what you have done in our community, what you are doing and what you continue to do in our community. I know you do a lot of good work, and we'd like to thank you as a council for what you do. So thank you. We're going to go for casual for a cause. During the month of February, Mount Isa City Council staff raised $140.60 for Girl Guides Mount Isa through the Casual for a Cause initiative. This is something our workers do every Friday, Casual for a Cause, and they donate. We couldn't get a representative from the Girl Guides here today due to work commitments, but I just would like to say that they do a great amount of work here in the community. And I know last year a lot of fundraising was done. They, for the first time in many, many years, they sent a small group of girls and leaders down to a jamboree in Sydney. There were actually thousands of Girl Guides down there, and apparently from all reports it was a great initiative, and it's something that they want to continue to do for our young ones in Mount Isa, which is great to see. We have got an Australian Day award, but the recipient isn't here yet, so I will now go to, and I'd just like to say, Pastor Matteo, you don't have to stay for the whole meeting. I know how busy you are. We did get a public participation application. It wasn't in the 24 hours, but I'm quite happy to take it from Peter Bolger, and he's asking about the easement between Kokoda Road and Finchhaven Street. It's government land, but Mount Isa City Council do work on it and then are paid back by the Queensland government. This is being done, I would like to say, Peter, but it's just dealing with the government. And as you would know, our parks and gardens are under extreme pressure at the moment, getting everything under control over our great wet season. So that will be done as soon as possible. And Peter also asked about the Lookout project, who's funding it. So that was a Works for Queensland funding. We got $4.34 million for that, and council don't have to, it's fully funded, so it's not paid by the ratepayers. And hopefully, on all accounts, and the director will nod his head, but I think June is the completion date for that. Yep, June 2026. So would you like anything else? Have I answered all your questions there, Peter? No, I'm very pleased the ratepayers won't be. No, fully funded. We've got a good little section in council that look for funding all the time, and we don't often get projects that are fully funded, so it was great to get this one. And I know the director did a lot of work on this because it was a project he was handed. He didn't actually start the project, and he's done a really good job at pulling it all in and getting bang for buck. Yep, I think that's already, yep, we have done that, but we can do that again. That's not a problem at all. The CEO will write that down and do that.
That has been done.
Hey?
That has been done.
Yeah, yep, but we'll just reiterate and let people know when it'll be open, so that'll be good. We'll just put it on social media and probably, yeah, social media, and I'd say the mayor or myself or one of the councillors can talk about it whenever they do an interview. Okay, so I'll have to move on, Madam Mayor, because the Australia Day participant isn't here.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Coghlan. Were you going to do 5.1 minutes of the ordinary meeting held 18th of Feb?
I am, so 5.1 minutes of the ordinary meeting. Just give me 2 seconds.
I can do that if you like.
If you wouldn't mind.
For 5.1.
Because my computer's-
I'll just move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 18th of February 2026 be confirmed as true and correct record.
Councillor Crowther, do I have a seconder for that motion?
A second at Tully.
Thanks, Councillor Tully. All in favour? Carried. Do I have a mover for item 6.1, outstanding actions from previous council meetings as at the 20th of March 2026?
Yeah, I'll move that council receives and notes the outstanding actions from previous council meetings as at the 20th of March 2026.
Thanks, Councillor Coghlan. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Seconded.
Councillor Crowther, did anyone need to speak to that at all?
No.
All in favour? Carried. Item 7, declarations of conflict of interest. Does anyone have anything to declare for today?
Nope.
No.
No, nil. Okay, that takes us to the mayoral minute. Just get that up on my screen. Okay, so I'm away at the moment at Civic Leaders Conference in Brisbane. Then I'll be heading to Broken Hill for the Australian Mining Cities Alliance board meeting tomorrow. And that also gives me the opportunity to meet with their Lead Alliance in Broken Hill and 2 of their Miners Memorial that we have heard so much about through the work we've done with our own Miners Memorial Committee. Then following that, I'm moving on to Canberra for the regional organisation of council's delegation. The aim of this trip is to strengthen relationships between Northwest mayors and federal members, find out what plans we have in terms of supply chains and logistics, raise awareness of the proposed regional deal proposal that Northwest Rock is in the process of developing with AEC, raise awareness on the need for enabling infrastructure investment through Northwest Queensland Enabling Infrastructure Master Plan, and provide an update on disaster recovery activities through the Northwest communities and the need to build resilience into our assets. So far this month, I've had the pleasure of acting as MC for Zonta International Women's Dinner, and last Friday, the opening of our new RFDS and Lifelight Aero Medical Base. That event attracted dignitaries, including the Deputy Premier and Senator Anthony Chisholm, and members of the boards of RFDS, Lifelight and Queensland Airports Limited. Both the opening and the community open day on Saturday were extremely well attended, and I did notice a lot of you popping along as well and attending those events. So I think it was, really successful. On Saturday evening, I had the opportunity to attend the Queens of Song performance that was sponsored and supported by Mount Isa City Council. It was wonderful to see mice and the school children taking part in the performance, and I'm sure they got so much out of it. Ashley Lavelle was highlighted in the show and got to do some duets with the professionals, and I'm sure she's going to go on to have an amazing career in the arts, and she did us all very proud. And I know we were fortunate enough the Deputy Mayor got along to that, and we had Geraldine and Connor there from Council as well. Someone else that's achieving great things is Derek Kuzak. He's off to run in the Boston Marathon as a guest of Robert Di Castella for the 40th anniversary of him winning that event. To be selected as one of 2 runners that have taken part in the Indigenous Marathon Foundation is a huge honour. I spoke with Derek on Monday, and he has nothing but praise for the encouragement and support that he got when he started his journey and when he was working for Mount Isa City Council and our then CEO David Keenan. It is achievements like these that we need to highlight and demonstrate how these opportunities can change the trajectory for not only the participant but for their immediate and extended families. So I want to congratulate both Derek and Reese Munns for being part of the IMF family and imparting their learnings on our community. On a not so bright note, I need to mention that I understand that everyone's concerned about international events and the impact that is having and will continue to have on us locally in terms of fuel security and supply chains. Mount Isa City Council is not immune to this, and this is going to impact us greatly with our budget preparations, and changes will need to be made moving forward as the situation develops. What this is going to look like, no one can say for sure at this stage, but just rest assured that our council team have the skills to deal with whatever comes, and we understand that we may have to make some very difficult decisions in terms of service provision and capital works adjustment as the situation unfolds. We'll be sure to keep the community up to date as the situation progresses. One upside is that some of the projects that we have been advocating for, including Green Gravity and the Western Link of Popper Street, gain even greater validity as the price of diesel continues to rise. Thanks very much. I will stay on for a little bit, but as time goes on, I'll head into town for the civic leader. So I'd like to, oh no, I won't, I'm hanging on for the next bit. Sorry. I'll now move on to notices of motion. There are nil. Item 10, I'll go to 10.1, appointment of Deputy Mayor from 5th of April 2026. Do I have a mover for that motion?
8.1. I thought you were going to move it.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to move it.
No, I just do what I always
Okay.
do and just ask for a mover.
I'll move, recommend that council appoint Councillor Kim Coghlan to the position of Deputy Mayor from the 5th of April 26 for a period of 12 months.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Yes, seconder.
Coghlan.
Thank you, Councillor Coghlan. Did anyone need to speak to that? All in favour? Carried. I'd now like to hand over to the Deputy Mayor to take over from item 10.2.
I'd like to move the recommendation that council appoints, that council nominates Councillor Dan Ballard to be a member of the 2025 to 2027 Mount Isa Regional Jobs Committee, known as the RJC.
I'll second that.
All those in favour? That's carried. Go to 11.1, and I'll hand over to James Coghlan.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'd like to recommend that Council receives and accepts the February 2026 Finance Overview Report as presented.
Could I have
Second
a
to Tully.
seconder? Would anyone like to speak on that?
I can't speak, Council, this is Councillor Ballard's portfolio, unless the Director of Finance has any any comments on?
Through the chair, can we just hand to the Director of Finance?
Thank you, Councillor, and through the chair, just on behalf of Councillor Ballard, a little bit of additional commentary. As you can see in this report, our loan repayments have fallen now well below 13 million to 12 and will soon be below 12 billion. That represents excellent debt servicing, and that's good news. Also good news, our cash balance has increased. This is mainly due to long-term debt recovery being affected, and you'll see it's now approaching the 60 mark. Please note though that I mentioned the debt that we have, and also there's about 13 million of that is restricted cash, so it's not all available cash. On page 26 of your papers, you'll see a really good chart there. It's the long-term cost of the materials recovery facility, and you'll see particularly to the right-hand side of that graph a steep increase in costs of our MRF, and this is something we need to work on as we move forward. You'll also see on page 57 that depreciation has significantly increased. Now, I know that doesn't affect cash, but it does affect our operating surplus or deficit, and that's detailed on page 57. You can see it quite starkly. Councillors will recall about 4 months ago you requested that we reflect grants in each monthly report, and you'll see now a very comprehensive list of grants as this part of the report has matured in this report, and it's about 6 pages long, that section of that report now, so that's really good. Happy to take any questions through you, Chair.
Have we any other questions of the Director? All those in favour? That's carried. I go to 11.2. I'll hand over to Councillor James Coghlan.
Yeah, I'd like to recommend that Council receives and accepts the February 2026 Mount Isa City Council Departmental Business Units Finance Overview Report as presented.
Do I have a seconder?
Seconded.
Crowther, Councillor Crowther. Would you like to speak on that?
He's already talked about it.
Yeah, we've already talked about it, but I'd like to thank the Director for all his hard work and his department as well. They've done a lot in this area, and especially like to thank him for the training the other day in regards to the finance that we had with the this Treasury, or whoever they were. QTC. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, it was very enlightening and helps us understand these figures, and hopefully in the next 2 years we'll really be able to work together to bring down any debts and rise up any money we're going to get received.
I'll just hand over to the Director of Finance for any additional comments.
Thank you, Deputy, and through the Chair. Echo those comments. The training from Jan from QTC was first rate, and it's important that we all have an understanding of these figures in front of us so we can move forward to sustainable surplus in the future, and that's the goal of all of us. Just a couple of points of additional commentary. You'll see in this report there is an increase in employee benefits. This is mainly a result of the enterprise bargaining agreement on costs and increments, but overall we are performing well. On page 55 you will see that we have received the Water Board dividend. This is approximately 3.5, and it's generally received in March every year, noting that occasionally it's a bit later, but it's on time this year. I couldn't go past without echoing the Mayor's comments, Deputy, that we are facing a difficult budget ahead. Councils run on two things. They run on people and they run on diesel. Diesel will impact everything you do from bitumen through to polypipe and all of our operations. So we are facing a very difficult budget, perhaps one of the more difficult ones in my career, but I look forward to pushing through that and adopting a fantastic budget come June.
Thank you, Director. If anyone has any other questions, all those in favour? I'd like to go to 12.1. And I will hand over to Councillor Crowther.
Doyle on that one.
Oh, Doyle.
Yeah. Just recommend that Council receives and accepts the Community Development Quarterly Report as presented.
Do I have a seconder?
Coghlan.
Councillor Coghlan.
Yeah, just like to talk. The activities for the period of December through to February consisted of the Move It program, the RADF grant, Council-initiated project works, community grants and sponsorship, in-kind sponsorship, youth justice, community service management, sports precinct feasibility study, sign-on expo, and connecting with sport and community groups. So we've seen a lot of things happening in the last couple of months to try and improve our sports and recreation in the town and facilities and so on. So Yeah, it's been good.
Anyone else have any comments? All those in favour? That's carried. 12.2.
Yeah, I'll just move that council accepts the Economic Development Quarterly Report as presented.
Have a seconder?
Second of Tully. Oh, sorry, Pete.
Councillor Crowther?
Yeah, you can see there that the economic team have been working hard, especially with all the MITEF funding. So there's a lot of projects that we're sort of going to be putting up to the state government for that MITEF funding. So hopefully we'll get to see all of them get approved in the coming days. I think there's still a couple that they're still doing works on to get them approved, but there's a couple there that I think they're going to be sort of getting sort of some announcements hopefully soon that we'll sort of be able to start moving on with those ones. And then also we saw they had that Glencore information session that they attended, and 32 apprentices have been employed, which has been the highest intake for almost a decade. So it's good news sort of for kids getting into the workforce that are going to be able to get into those apprenticeships. So overall, I mean, the guys have been working hard. Obviously, there's a lot of economic issues out there at the moment, so they'll probably be working even harder sort of in the coming weeks to sort of get through everything.
Thanks, Councillor Crowther. Any other comments? All those in favour? Carried. 12.3, Youth Development. I'll hand over to Councillor Doyle.
Yeah, just recommend that council accepts the Youth Development Quarterly Report as presented.
I have a seconder.
Coughlin.
Yep. The focus this quarter has shifted from consultation to implementation using information and data gathered. This quarter, the Bites and Beats event successfully drew over 2,000 attendees through combined efforts and internal and external volunteers, funding support and council. The community directory drafted in December and built in early January is now live and has entered a soft launch phase for stakeholder review. Additionally, last month, a community working group of Youth Week was established. A grant application has been submitted in partnership with the library services to support these upcoming events and to develop a unified branding and marketing approach for Mount Isa. Just to the community, we're really trying, our services, our council, everybody's really trying to put some stuff in play for our youth. So we just need to get as many parents and as many services and that can get kids to these events to get them to participate, because we're really trying to make sure our community has a, I suppose, a fruitful future with our kids. At the end of the day, they're our future leaders, so they're the ones that we've got to try and help the most, and we are doing as much as we can, and so is the community. So just jump on board, everybody, and get amongst it.
Thank you, Councillor Doyle.
Through the, just one of the directors, it says the graffiti's removals on target. Can we just get a bit of a background on who's responsible and what we as a council are doing? It says
The graffiti,
it says on target here,
cleaning it up.
and I just like to see where the on target is, please.
Yeah, graffiti, as you know, is a bit of a problem within Mount Isa. We have processes in place where we work with community groups to help us activate the removal of graffiti in a timely manner. That is through the provision of goods, services and whatever we need to get it done, so we're not waiting on community groups and having them foot the bill and do whatever has to be done. So council's taking an active step to act on reports as they come in, working with council departments as well to identify, go out, assess and remove. So that'll be ongoing.
Just through, yeah, can you just tell me where they've been removed though? Like, I know they still are and they've been there for quite a while.
I would give a generalised answer, but I can find out more detail for you, but it'll be from the general CBD area, I believe it is.
Yeah, these are in the CBD area.
Yeah, I'll find you that detail for you if you like.
Thank you.
So through the chair, I think the previous director had a graffiti kits. Where's what's to go with that? Is that?
Might take that on notice. You know that we had that policy, and they're all businesses that want to borrow them.
Just through the deputy, I mean, I just think this is really important because I mean, if we don't eliminate it, it grows. Like, I mean, you know, when they see it, it encourages them to do more of it. So I think it's something that we think got to take seriously, especially in the CBD.
Yeah, through the chair. Do we have like the CCTV footage or anything of catching these?
So, as council would be aware, we received a grant of about 400,000 to upgrade the cameras at this point in time.
Yeah.
I might get, so there is some work ongoing.
Yeah.
What I might do is I'll get the IT director to send councillors an update on where that's at, because I think it's getting quite close to being.
Yeah, I just seen them. I just seen them down Mall Street doing it. I just wondered if it was finished
So
or
I
not.
might, I'll get an email sent about
Because if we can start to.
So what we'll
Yeah,
do, we'll
big-
take those both on notice that the councillors get a feedback on the CCTVs and also the graffiti management, but then we will report back to the public in the next meeting. So I'll get the councillors responsible for both of those. They can report on that next meeting.
Through the deputy, I'd like the action as well added to that, please. Not just the
Yep. Rightio.
I just wanted to say, Deputy Mayor, that that Bites and Beats, we were away that weekend, but everyone I spoke to really enjoyed it. And I know there was a lot of work put into it, and it just goes to show that if you put the work in, that people in town will support your event. And in the current climate, it's something that we need to provide. We need to provide more events such as that for our people and support those associations that are providing those events for our community.
I think just to add to that, Deputy Mayor, I think in the budgetary process.
Annual event. Yep, no worries. Rightio, if we have no further questions, all those in favour? That one's carried. 12.4, Regional Jobs Committee.
Yep, I'll just
Quarterly
move that
report.
council receives and accepts the Regional Jobs Committee quarterly report as presented.
Seconder for that?
second of Tully.
Just moving forward, that obviously the RJC is still ticking along. They've got that 2-year service agreement, so it's going through till 30th of September 2027. The quarter they've been focused on transition and mobilisation under the new agreement, submission of an updated annual action plan, still pending approvals, protecting and progressing investment-ready initiatives and cross-regional learning in the Commonwealth alignment. So obviously there's a lot of work they're getting done. There's got plenty of jobs on the board. We've seen from their events they've held as well that they've got a lot of jobs on the board. So we've still got plenty of opportunity for people to get out there and get a job.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Just through the deputy, is there any way we can sort of reboot the opportunity to come out here now with the fuel prices the way they are? Because I mean, you know, my two boys done their apprenticeship in Brisbane, and I mean they were driving for 3 hours before work and 3 hours after. I think it's probably just a good opportunity to jump on the bandwagon now, and really emphasise, you know, we're 10 minutes to work and 10 minutes home. You know, like I just think we need to really boot that home now, because there's a big window there, and I think it may be filled if we, you know, say that a tank of fuel lasts us 2 weeks here, not
I
filling
think
up
you've
3 times a
You've
week.
brought up a really good point there, and it's something we should look at, like promoting, like Australia-wide, because everyone's going to be in the same boat. But like you said, all the reasons why coming out to Mount Isa, we still do it tough, but we're not driving, like I said, an hour and a half to work or an hour and a half from work. So that's probably something that we could bring into a workshop on what promotion we can do on that.
The reason I say it is because, you know, we've been hammering it now for a long time, but this is probably, you know, they may stand up and listen to us at the moment, because I mean the cost of fuel is going to, you know, affect everyone. Like it's food, it's, you know, whether they're going to get it planted into the ground, and I mean that's going to be affected down the coast. But fuel, the amount we use is very minimal compared to, you know, in other areas of Australia.
We'll put that in for a workshop item as an action, Councillor Tully.
Yeah.
Rightio, moving on. Any other questions on that one? All those in favour? Going on, 12.5.
Yeah, I'd like to recommend that council extends the bounty trial by endorsing an additional $20,000 from the biosecurity charge.
I'll second that.
Councillor Coghlan?
Yeah, I'd like to just, we did an interview with the ABC the other day. There was a comment about people bringing in the whole carcass of the feral cat rather than just the tail to prove that it hasn't been microchipped. That was one of my concerns when this program came on board. But what we need to, or what people need to realise, is that this is mainly out in the rural areas, and that people need to register for the bounty program. So you just can't go and catch cats. You have to register for the program, and those people have certain rules and that they have to follow as part of that.
And I think the whole carcass requirement has been changed for the extension. Well, it was changed.
Changed before that.
Changed the extension.
Yeah. Through the,
Make it easier for people to play.
through the deputy. I mean, I've just a few people have asked me, and I've told them, but we put it out there where, you know, the odd bloke that goes down to Boulia and chases a pig or a dog and gets a dog or something, and or driving to Boulia, we're just using this as an example, and they end up with a dog. It's on no one's area, and so it's not actually a stakeholders area that they're taking it off. It's actually off main roads. So I'd just like to see if we can develop through Facebook or something, or a couple of posts or something, where the people who are not actually getting it through a stakeholder, and they've just asked me, you know, and that's just an example. I brought up about the killing a dingo on the Boulia Road, you know, so they just want to know the process, what they have to do to be able to secure their scalps back through the council. I don't think we've got enough information about just the local person.
We can have a look at it, maybe have a discussion at a workshop. We haven't covered that process.
Yes, correct.
Landholders thing, so say it's a main road, harder to manage, I suppose. But we can have a chat about it.
I just think they want to know what the process is to get to be able to collect the funding from the Mount Isa City.
We'd have to
Yeah.
change the guidelines, to be honest.
If they're down in Boulia, that's Boulia's council, isn't it?
Can
Aye.
cause some other issues.
Well, it could be in the Mount Isa Council too.
I'll take you to Boulia, they got plenty of money.
But anyway, just they've asked me. That's all about the new bounty, and just asked. I thought I'd just ask the question for them.
Right, all those in favour? That's carried. 12.6, adoption of Mount Isa City Council Waste Management Strategy 2026 to 2031.
Yeah, I'd like to recommend the council adopt the Mount Isa City Council Waste Management Strategy 2026-2031.
Do I have a seconder?
Second of Tully.
Councillor Coghlan?
Yeah, this is a legislative requirement, Deputy Mayor, and yeah, that's all I can say about it.
Righto. Any other questions? All those in favour? That's carried. 12.7, RADF Council initiated project, Opera Queensland Regional Tour. I'll hand over to Councillor Crowther.
Yeah, I'll just move that council endorses the Regional Arts Development Fund, RADF, Committee's recommendation to host the Opera Queensland 2026 Regional Tour altogether now as a RADF Council initiated project.
Do I have a seconder?
Coghlan.
Councillor Coghlan?
Yep.
Just quickly, obviously, the RADF board's seen this project come available and sort of recommended it as a council initiated project. It should bring a lot, the quality of sort of opera singers to the region. In addition, there's going to be some masterclasses and vocal workshops, so sort of benefit for the community as well, in twofold, with a bit of training as well as the sort of getting the visual.
And I just think, adding to that, I think they do workshops and that in Mount Isa.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're going to do the workshops as well.
Which is great, so that gets all our children involved as well. Any other comments? All those in favour? Carried. 12.6, request for council approval of MITEF funding application Outback at Isa.
I'll just move that council approves the submission of a grant application by the Mount Isa City Council owned enterprises, MICO, to the Mount Isa Transition Fund, MITEF, seeking the amount of $330,319, including GST, for the detailed design initial consultation of the Hard Times Mine surface experience development at Outback at Isa.
Do I have a seconder?
Second Tully.
Councillor Crowther?
Yeah, it's just a submission. Obviously, MICO submitted it through the Regional Infrastructure Tourism Fund, but was unsuccessful. So, just trying through the MITEF fund, and looks if there's some extra money there. There was just an opportunity for us to try and go for it. So, this is just a submission to them. It's sort of still the state government still have to approve it and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, thank you. All those in favour? That one's carried. 13.1, Major Projects Overview Report, February 2026. I'll hand to Councillor Tully.
I recommend that council receives and notes the February 2026 Major Projects Overview Report.
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councillor Tully?
The Major Projects Report provides an overview of the status of the council's capital program delivery. Key points are to note are the commencement of the works of the Glider Port Road to connect Healy Heights and Duchess component to the development when it first commenced nearly 20 years ago. The project is entirely funded by the state government, with the Deputy Premier undertaking the soil turning last Friday. It is also worth noting that this project has commenced ahead of timeframes required by the funding agreement. Second point, the vast majority of the work has been completed on the Mile Street car park project, with just the line marking remaining on the project, and they've done a fairly good job there, so it looks good. Just it's not open yet. Myself and some of the other councillors undertook a site visit to the Lookout project during this month, and observed that the majority of the demolition works has been completed, and the site civil works has commenced at no cost to the council. Third, finally, overall the project is behind baseline forecast, and the team are working to ensure that the next year's capital program is compiled to ensure a smoother delivery.
Thank you, Councillor Tully. Has anyone else got any comments? I just would like to mention that another major project that's happening is the toilet replacement program, and I know we have got at Sunset Oval, they're doing works there, but we have worked, and thank you to the director, is working with the people that are doing the work to make sure that the cricket grand final can go ahead on Saturday. So there was a bit of concern there that cricket wouldn't be able to play due to the mower not being able to get in and mow the grass and that, but that has been fixed, and also there'll be portable toilets there. So if anyone's looking at anything to do on a Saturday, you can sit in our good weather and watch the cricket grand final. And also I'd just like to say, while we're talking about cricket, a big thank you to the junior cricket that's up and running. It's absolutely fantastic to see every Friday night I go past Captain Cook Oval and there's heaps of juniors out there playing, and there's parents sitting on the sidelines watching, which is great to see. So, and that all come from a major project of many years ago of upgrading the lighting at both Captain Cook Oval and Sunset Oval. So, well done. Have we got anyone else? Any comments about this one? All those in favour? That's carried. 13.2, Works and Operations Overview Report, February 2026. I'll hand to Councillor Tully.
I recommend that the council receives and accepts the February 2026 Works and Operations Overview Report.
Do I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second it.
As we come towards the end of the wet season, the report highlights the impact of the wet season on council's infrastructure, in particular our urban and rural roads, stormwater network, parks, landscaping and reserves. The report highlights that our crews have been very busy dealing with the impacts of the rain, such as They've been patching and repairing potholes caused by the rain, monitoring storm water pipes and clearing blocked drains, monitoring and controlling the flooded crossing directed and removing traffic controls when required, undertaking debris removal from the flooded crossings, especially Elmer Creek crossing seems to be the main one. Significant increase in vegetation growth and caused an increase in demand of mower and whippersnipping and slashing around council parks, cemeteries and reserves. I mean, they're just well under the pump at the moment, so just any concerns, I'm sure that the directors will get to it.
Thank you, Councillor Tully. Has anyone else got any comments?
Yeah, I think we just need patience because, you know, you turn around and the grass has grown after you've mowed it. It's unbelievable. So there is some overgrown places around town, but you know, they're under the pump, as you said, and they're doing a pretty good job, I think. They're keeping all the parks and that available for people, and that's the first priority. So yeah, they'll get there in the end, but yeah, difficult time for them.
I just would like to say, during the wet season, a thank you to the crews that had to go out, and again, the public do need to have a little bit of patience with the road closures on the causeways and the rivers. There's only a small group that have to go to each one, but to be able to clear those, only certain people that have got qualifications can say, yes, they can be opened, and then the crews have got to go around there and open them. But if there's work to be done, there's only one crew again doing one causeway, then they've got to move on to the next one. So, and I know it doesn't, if you do have to go around the long way, it is a pain. We're very spoilt in Mount Isa. We don't like going an extra 2 kilometres, but sometimes we have to do it. But a thank you to the crews that have done that in over the last couple of months with all this weather. On that,
just through the Debbie, I'd like to really thank Andrew for what he's done for the through this wet season. He's come into something that probably the best wet season Mount Isa's ever seen. So it rained from November right through till probably a week ago. In updating me and Peter and completely along that track. So any issues, we're always directed, and we'd really appreciate what he's done for us.
thank you. Do you want to say anything, Director?
Thank you, Councillor Tully. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Right, all those in favour? Right, 13.4. Civic Centre Essential Services Compliance and Buchanan Park Fire Services Upgrade Budget Amendment Report. Can I hand that to you, Councillor Tully?
No, you missed a couple.
Yeah, 13.3.
13.3 we're doing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Can you apologise, please, Mr. Councillor Deputy?
I apologise for my mistake there. 13.3. Not very often I'm wrong. You picked me up on a good one, boys.
Very often you admit it.
13.3. We have Water and Sewer Overview Report, February and March 2026. I will hand to Councillor Tully.
I recommend that Council receive and accept the Water and Sewer Overview Report for February and March 2026.
Do I have a seconder?
Coughlin.
Councillor Tully.
This report provides a summary of the works undertaken in February. Key activities for February mostly involve responding to additional rainfall, and some of these impacts have been very noticeable to our community of Mount Isa and Camberwell. It has been noted that the ponds of the sewer treatment works have been overflowing. The sewer treatment plant, which saw inflows, tripled during the wet season. This meant that the plant produced far more recycled water than normal and exceeded the amount that the community would use, causing storage ponds overflow. However, the discharge was done so with the approval of the environmental regulator. Water leaks caused by moving wet soils also meant that there are still a significant number of leaks around town. However, it's worth noting that the report showed that the plumbing team repaired 138 leaks over this period and will continue to fix leaks with a prioritised approach. And I just keep sending them to poor old Andrew again, but we are getting on to them. But any real urgent ones, we're happy for the council someone to notify the council, the real bad ones.
Thank you. Any other comments? All those in favour? That one's carried. 13.4. This is the Civic Centre Essential Services Compliance and Buchanan Park Fire Services Upgrade Budget Amendment Report. I'd like to recommend that Council amend the 2025 to 2026 budget and make allocation in the 2026 to 2027 budget to permit the calling and approval of the tenders and awarding of contracts. First one being Buchanan Park Fire Services Upgrade, Work Order 830 from 300,000 to 518,000, of which 218,000 being allocated to the 2026-2027 capital projects budget. Number 2, Civic Centre Essential Services Compliance, Work Order 831 from 300,000 to 1.505 million, of which 1.205 million being allocated to the 2026 to 2027 capital projects budget. Have I got a seconder for that?
Second to Tully.
I'll just give an overview on this, and I'll just go from the report for those that do listen to the meeting. The Buchanan Park Fire Services upgrade was necessitated after a recent inspection by the QFES personnel. The Civic Centre building is an aged asset that was designed to meet 1970 building and fire codes. Other essential services within the Civic Centre also needed reviewing and brought up to current standard. To ensure compliance of the fire detection systems, alarms, programming that complies with AS 1670.1 and QFES requirements, a full systems design is needed and Council engaged specialist consultants to undertake this work. The resulting report confirmed that the existing system is non-compliant and that none of the current fire services infrastructure within the Civic Centre can be retained. It's just basically saying that the Civic Centre is very, very old. The fire system needs to be upgraded to make sure that we're compliant and for the safety of not only our workers but people that go to the Civic Centre to watch shows. And basically that's all this is. Have I got any other comments?
I think people need to realise that as the legislation changes, we have to abide by it. So it's something we have to do, and it's the same if you think about your own house. You know, we all had to put smoke alarms and that in, and now they have to be hardwired and so forth. So, you know, there's extra cost in that. So it's just a legislative requirement that we have to follow.
At a cost.
At a cost.
At a cost.
Yep.
As long as it saves lives.
Yeah.
That's right. All those in favour? That one is carried. 13.5. Tender report. Mount Isa Civic Centre Essential Services Compliance Report.
I'd like to recommend that Council adopt the tender consideration plan as attached and resolves to award a contract to Fire Engineering Party Limited for $1,102,000 excluding GST to deliver the fire service upgrade, supply and construction, project 2024 to 18, and delegates authority to the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate, finalise and enter into the contract.
Do I have a seconder?
Seconded.
Councillor
This is just referring to the previous motion.
All those in favour? That one's carried. 13.6, Public Toilet Budget Amendment Report.
The Council amend the public toilet replacement program budget for from 500 to 600,000.
Do I have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Seconder, Councillor Crowther.
Just an overview, the Council engaged a suitable qualified contractor to demolish the existing toilet blocks, transport the Mount Isa City Council supply module toilet units from the Council depot, and install, connect, test and commission them at each site, including all associated service-connected finishes, certifications and making good. Additional costs will, however, be incurred in part of this project.
I think this is going to be a great, received greatly by members of the public. These The toilets that are going are, especially ones at Sunset Oval, are very aged and need upgrading. And I'll just hand over to the director if he would like to give us an update.
Thank you, councillors. As discussed in the report, the project budget for this project was initially 600,000 when we went to tender and sourced the principal supplied materials and engaged with contractors. The initial scope of 3 replacements was scoped down to 2 replacements, and the budget was reduced from 600,000 to 500,000. That budget reduction was probably, and that was done during the Q2 budget amendments. That budget amendment was a little bit aspirational. We have gone through, there are additional costs associated with this project, which it's to ensure that we are reporting accurately to councillors. Those costs should be associated with this project, which would take that project value over that 500,000. So before committing council to those works, we're ensuring that the budget is reflected accordingly, and that's the outcome of this report.
Thank you very much, Director. All those in favour? That one is carried. 13.7, declared service areas for water, sewerage and waste.
Recommend that Council adopts 2026-27 version 1 of the declared service area for the retail water services and sewerage services for Camberwell and Mount Isa City as per the Water Supply Safety and Reliability Act 2008, Division 2, Section 161. Excuse me. And that Council adopts 2026-27 version 1 of the declared service area for the collection of general waste cleansing services for Camberwell and Mount Isa City as per the Waste Reduction and Recycling Regulation 2003, Part 3, Section 5. And that Council adopts 2026-27 version 1 of the declared service area for the collection of curbside recycling for Camberwell and Mount Isa City as per the Waste Reduction and Recycling Regulation 2003, Part 3, Section 5. And that Council ensures the reflection of these declared services areas within their respective management plans, data sources made publicly available on Council's website and used as a supporting reference in any future City of Mount Isa planning scheme amendments.
Do I have a seconder?
Seconder Tully.
This is, I think it's an annual requirement as required, and it's mainly if things change, and so amendments to properties with water meters outside the former declared services area. So it's to capture, you know, any new properties and any new water meters and so forth, not just their water but also their waste retrieval and so forth. So we're as our community hopefully grows, we'll revisit this.
Thank you. Do I have any other questions on this? All those in favour? That's carried. We go on to number 14, general business. Councillor Doyle.
I just saying it's good to see, like, you know, like bites and beats and things like that coming to town, and the prospect of having that as an annual event's great. Certain services and stuff are doing things as well, so we've got a lot of things happening in the community that are good and that are positive. So any of the negative stuff, please disengage from it and try and join into some of the positive stuff and try and, you know, uplift our community instead of pulling it down. I just want to see our community thrive, and all these good things that we bring into the community, you know, we want to enjoy them. We want people to come to this town and enjoy them and realise how amazing our community is, instead of just having us up here pitching it and preaching it all the time. I want everybody to feel it too. So, just get involved in the community and enjoy it, please.
Thank you.
I just first up want to congratulate Winmark and Zonta on their International Women's Day events. Both were well attended and fantastic keynote speakers. I got to the Winmark event. I didn't actually make it to the Zonta International Women's Day event. Still was lucky enough to win a prize out of that though. But buy a ticket, you're always up for a chance to win. I wasn't lucky enough to get the dinner this time though. Don't forget school holidays coming up, so we've got the Easter break as well as Anzac Day. So for those people attending, try and get down to the dawn service. It's a great event for everyone, and very special in the good time of year with the weather and that. So make sure you get down there for that one. I just want to wish David and Robin Hardy, who's leaving Mount Isa at the end of the term. David's been the principal at Healy State School for just over 10 years and will be moving on. 1 Mile School in Gympie is going to be very lucky to have David starting there. David and Robin have started and raised their family here and has really turned Healy State School around. And I'm sure Healy and Mount Isa will always have a special place in their heart, and we hope to see them back one day. Don't forget, Great Northern Rodeo is on this Saturday. So again, if you're looking for something to attend, that's going to be a great event for everyone to get to. Tomo does a great job with this rodeo and the other rodeos that he does around. So it's good to see that the Buchanan Entertainment Centre is getting used again as well. So there's plenty of things happening with that coming up, as well as the upcoming events in May. So we'll see a lot of action happening around Buchanan Park. And that's pretty much it for me.
Thank you. Councillor Coghlan.
Yeah, just that Great Northern Rodeo this weekend. Congratulations to the Mount Isa Race Club. The St Paddy's Day was a great event. They always put on a good show. The Flying Doctor and Life Flight, their facilities out there are just amazing, and it's going to make a huge difference. We're in a bit of a bad spot at the moment. The fuel is starting to affect the tourist season, and it will affect the tourist season. And there's a shortage of copper because of Evolution, being down, but they're doing maintenance and so forth and rebricks at the moment, but that's affecting the workers over there at the copper smelter. But just hang tight. Things will come good. I'd like to congratulate David Barry. Bob Jakeman was trying to get a third rugby league team in this year and approached a number of people to get Black Stars going again, and David Barry's stepped up to the plate and got Starries going again. So, 3 cheers for the old black and white. It just, I think, with the fuel and so forth and all the issues, any assistance we can give to associations in our town increases the livability, and we need to think outside the square to help our community. And one thing that League has done is it's got that third oval, but it's on Healy School, so the kids at Healy can use it. So I think that's a great initiative and a way of showing how we can share facilities.
Councillor Tully.
Yeah, I think most people have sort of talked about what I was going to talk about, I guess. But fuel is an issue that with the radio committee, we're well on track with well above our budget for sponsorship already. But fuel is, we're a bit lucky in a certain way. It's not till August, so we will have a bit of an indication what June, July do to Mount Isa. So that'll, it'll still cost you $10 to run the show. It'll be just the amount of grog or something that we buy that eliminates come back with if there's any problems, in them 2 or 3 months earlier than the radio. We opened the care flight. They opened the care flight Flying Doctor thing on the week on Friday, and had unbelievable 600 tickets were sold pre going to look at it on Saturday, and I think it did get more people through the door. I think it's I personally think that in a 5 years' time, because of the area we cover out here, we'll be looking at I'm hoping that there'll be a second helicopter, because the reason they work conjunct with each other, the amount of work they've done already. If anyone sees it on Facebook, try and share it, because it is something that we've, as a kid for me, picked up by Flying Doctors out in the middle of the flat, could land and everything, but they can't do that anymore. Like Jamie said before, we just got to change with the times. The helicopter lands now, picks up the patient, and then takes them to the nearest airport or aerodrome or whatever that is, so the Flying Doctor can, where the Flying Doctor plane can land, and then takes them to wherever they're required, whichever hospital they're at. The numbers at the lake, I've been out the lake a couple of times. The lake numbers for people is unbelievable at the moment. I think that's created by, back to what I originally said, I think we've got a really transit town now, a lot of new people in town, and I think we've got an asset there that we probably need to develop more, because there's not many places in Australia where you get 5 minutes out of a massive lake. And I mean, we're getting new people here to town all the time, and they're driving out there and looking, and over the weekend there was unbelievable numbers out there. We just sports again, based on I think the Transit Town again, we've got a lot of new people. The amount of football teams in the juniors is unbelievable this year. We've got numbers, both my boys coach, and they've got two, they could easily make 3 teams in each grade. So we went over to Cloncurry on the week. I'd like to congratulate Cloncurry on the job they've done, but we just got to really capitalise on these youth, and the more we look after the youth in town, in this, you know, right in the small grades, parents will stay here. So, because I mean, we're offering something that they haven't got in them, you know, something a little bit more than what they haven't got down if they are away, you know, in Brisbane or Sydney or somewhere, because they've got to travel again. They've got to travel to their, to take their kids, where here it's a 2-minute drive. So I just think anyone who's supporting all that, volunteers, they're always looking back on volunteers again, they're always looking for them. But I just think the more people we can help to keep these small groups going, I think it's going to be a massive benefit to the town. Thank you.
Thank you. At the start, I just might have to hand over to the director, but I just would like to say we have got an event talking, all the council has said about community events, volunteers for sport and just putting on events. We've got 4 rodeo queens working hard. They're always looking for volunteers and that. And this weekend in Mount Isa, I think we've got something on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning to help groups and individuals look at ways that they can attract volunteers, retain volunteers. Margie Ryder has been the driving force in this. They're coming from Townsville, and I know they are having an event here in Mount Isa on Saturday morning at the library, and I think on Sunday morning it's at the Civic Centre, and on Friday there's one as well at the Civic Centre. She will be at the rodeo on Saturday night as well, talking to people, getting people to do a quick little survey, and I just would like to hand to the director. Have I forgotten anything on that one?
Through yourself, you've ticked the boxes on all accounts, and it'll be unlike Margie to miss a rodeo event. Yes, it's all about grants, readiness, attraction and retention of volunteers, and celebrating the value of volunteers and what they bring. If I could also just expand just on the community events, which I believe has been covered off on, but was Queensland Music Trails, 9th of May is coming on. There's, you see the advertising and marketing going out for that. Some very good, strong early bookings for that, which has been received and notified, which is fantastic. And a Connecting Northwest Queensland event just prior to that, which will be for small business and, as we made mention before, about the encouragement for jobs and development and understanding of the opportunities in Northwest and Mount Isa.
Thank you. So that event is free as well. It costs nothing. What you will pick up from it will be really, really great. Just the other things I want to talk about is people often say in Mount Isa that council don't do too much for sports in Mount Isa. Well, we do quite a lot for sports in Mount Isa. I know our Parks and Gardens have been working with Mount Isa Rugby League. They've got a little bit of a problem on their field number 1 there, so they're working closely with Bob Jakeman there to try and get that issue fixed up. Alexander Oval, we're working hard at trying to get a couple of other sports to share that oval, always talking about multi-use of facilities. So hopefully in the near future we'll see AFL back at Alexander Oval, softball's there, and I know one of the leagues club needs a new training facility, so we're looking at that. Also dancing, Mount Isa City Council, a few of the councillors have been working on a solution there at the moment. Unfortunately, I think in a few weeks or whatever, they've had to leave from where they have been for many, many years, and they are now split. So we're looking for somewhere where they could like re-establish themselves. At the moment we haven't been able to find anything, but it just goes towards, we've got consultants working on the multi-purpose centre out at Sports Parade. It just goes to show how much Mount Isa does need a big multi-purpose centre to get with your basketball, your netball, your futsal, your badminton, your dancing. It could be all over in one area. And speaking of sports, I have been dealing with the Premier's office on this one. There is a major problem, and it's been a problem for many, many years. I've spoken about it's Northwest School Sports. We still have a really good MISA committee here doing their best to make sure that our school kids can continue to go away for sports in the Northwest. But my issues with it are that we've got a Northwest Regional Sports Officer that's located in Longreach, where that position should be in Mount Isa. We're dictated to by Central Queensland. People are making decisions, make a decision, that's handed down, and then the people from CQ go over the top of them and say, no, we can't do it like that. They're nearly 2,000 kilometres away, don't know what's going on out here, and it's a system that's not working. I've spoken with the North Queensland Regional Schools Director as well. He's aware of all the problems, and I would like to, with the permission to teach, these teachers are out here, but they're not allowed to take any sporting sides away, but they are allowed to go on school camps. They are allowed to teach a classroom, but they can't go on a sporting trip, which is a decision from Queensland School Sports. That has really affected us out in Mount Isa here. They've been scrambling to try and fill. We had 10 people, PTTs, that were going to do roles, and that got squashed. So then they had to go and try and get new people to do it. So I would like to say a thank you to the Premier's office, because they've been, the Premier himself has been really good in helping us liaise with the schools. So hopefully we'll keep working towards a solution on that one. And just just another one, just please, if you do want to come along to Margie Ryder's volunteering event on Friday, Saturday or Sunday, please do, and even talk to her at the rodeo on Saturday night. Everyone's struggling for volunteers, so if we could look at different ways on how to do it, but also the grants writing is a great one as well. So thank you. So we will now...
Coggo.
Yep.
Yeah, just one quick one. I'd just like to thank all the rodeo queens for the effort they're putting into towards the rodeo, and there is a gala dinner next weekend after the rodeo. So, but all of them are doing an exceptional job for us.
Yep. Thank you. So consideration. We'll go to point 15. Consideration of confidential business items. I apologise in advance. This is very long-winded, but
Deputy Mayor.
yep.
Deputy Mayor, before you go through all
Yep.
that, I'm going to duck out and head into the civic leaders now. So
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
See ya.
See ya.
So, recommendation that Council considers the confidential reports listed below in a meeting closed to the public in accordance with Section 254J of the Local Government Regulation 2012. 15.1. MICO Finance Overview Report, February 2026. This matter is considered to be confidential under Section 254J-G of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with negotiations relating to a commercial matter involving the local government for which a public discussion would be likely to prejudice the interests of the local government. 15.2. Financial year 2025 to 26, Quarter 2 Budget Review, Buchanan Park Priority Projects. This matter is considered to be confidential under Section 254J-C of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with the local government's budget. 15.3. Request to hold interest charges on rates and charges. This matter is considered to be confidential under Section 254J-C and D of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with the local government's budget and rating concessions. 15.4. amendment to Council's Register of Commercial Charges 2025 to 2026, waste management facility, tip shop operation and fees and charges. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 254J-C of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with the local government's budget. 15.5, notice of intention to sell land for outstanding rates and charges. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 254J-C and D of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with the local government's budget and rating concessions. 15.6, 2025 DRFA Restoration Works Packages 1 to 5. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 275-E of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter is in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with contracts proposed to be made by it. 15.7, Soldiers Hill Principal Cycle Network Construction Project. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 275-E of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with contracts proposed to be made by it. 15.8, minutes of the Audit and Risk Management Committee meeting, 12th of November 2025. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 254J-C and F of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with the local government's budget and matters that may directly affect the health and safety of an individual or a group of individuals. 15.9, overdue rates and or charges, Lot 17 on Crown Plan MPH 22074. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 254J-C and D of the Local Government Regulation, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest as it deals with the local government's budget and rating concessions. Can I get a seconder for that motion, please?
Seconded.
Councillor Crowther.
Done well, Cogger.
All those in favour? That's carried. And I'll move the I'd like to move a motion that council moves out of closed council into open council. Can I have a seconder?
Second, Tully.
Rightio. 15.1.
I'll just move that council receives and accepts the February 2026 MyCo Finance Overview Report as presented.
Second, Tully.
All those in favour? So carried. 15.2.
I'll move that council approves reallocation of the portion of the proceeds from the sale of 103 West Street for the transformation of, where'd it go? Of
Buchanan.
of assets at Buchanan Park to the value not exceeding $325,000 as presented.
Can I have a seconder?
Coghlan.
Councillor Coghlan. All those in favour? Carried. 15.3.
I recommend that council approves to hold interest charges from being applied to all outstanding rates and charges, excluding water consumption charges, on all rate assessments on the 5th of May 2026 until 15th of May 2026 under section 133-1B and 1344A of the Local Government Regulation 2012.
Can I have a seconder?
Second, Tully.
All those in favour? 15.4.
Local laws.
Yeah, you're wrong, mate.
I'm in. Recommend that council approves the operation of council's tip shop at the waste management facility on Jessup Drive, and that council approves an amendment to council's register of commercial charges 2025-2026 under section 173 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 for the inclusion of the waste management facility tip shop fees and charges.
Seconder for that motion?
Seconded.
All those in favour? That one's carried. 15.5. I'd like to recommend that council resolves to sell sell the land in the below schedule pursuant to section 140(2) of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and B, delegate to the Chief Executive Officer its power to 1. Give a notice of intention to sell the land to all interested parties under section 140(3) of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and 2. Take all further steps required under sections 141, 142, 143, 144, 145 and 146 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to effect the sale of land.
I'll second it.
Seconded. The schedule there of the properties is there for on the report. Seconded by Councillor Crowther. All those in favour? Carried. 15.6. I'd like to recommend that Council A, engages Blackform Contracting Pty Limited under contract number 2025-44 for the value of $2,797,391 excluding GST, plus allowance for 25% contingency as needed, and B, engages Mouma Pty Limited under contract number 2025-45 for the value of $2,513,279,000 excluding GST, plus allowance for 25% contingency as needed, and C, engages NQ Civil and Haulage Pty Limited under contract number 2025-46 for the value of $1,479,509,000 excluding GST, plus allowance for 25% contingency as needed. D, engages Remploy under contract number 2025-47 for the value of $3,098,274 excluding GST, plus allowance for 25% contingency as needed, and E, engages Heisler Contracting Pty Limited under contract number 2025-48 for the value of $2,460,683, excluding GST, plus allowance for 25% contingency as needed. And F, delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate, finalise and enter into contract substantively in the terms of the contract issued with the tender. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Second, Tully.
All those in favour? Carried. 15.7. I'd like to recommend that Council A award contract 2025-24, 2025-31, Mount Isa City Council Soldiers Hill Principal Cycle Construction Project, VP 485192, to Blackform Contracting Petty Limited for the amount of $3,083,762.22, excluding GST. B, delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate, finalise and enter into contract substantively in the terms of contract issued with the tender. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Coghlan.
Councillor Coghlan. All those in favour? That motion has been defeated. Would there like to be an alternative motion put up?
I'll just move that council does not accept the offer recommended made to the report to award contract 2025_31 in accordance with section 254H of the local government regulations for the following reasons as provided. Council is seeking to engage a wider range of businesses based in Mount Isa City Council local government area. 2, council has concerns regarding the awarding of multiple contracts to a single party and the associated resourcing and programming risks. 3, council is seeking to increase the capability of businesses based in Mount Isa local government area. 4, as a result, I seek to award the contract to a contract in the panel evaluated second on the basis that they scored the highest in local content and the tender price, while higher, is very similar with the price submitted by the preferred tenderer, and that council awards contract 2025_31 MICC Soldiers Hill Principal Cycle Construction Project, VP 485192 to NQES Proprietary Limited for $3,178,673.42, excluding GST. B, delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate, finalise and enter contract substantively in the terms of the contract issued with the tenderer, and that council increases the overall council contribution to the MICC Soldiers Hill Principal Cycle Construction Project by an additional $95,000 to $3,528,139 over the 25-26 and 26-27 financial year budgets.
Do I have a seconder?
Second, Tully.
All those in favour? Could I have it noted, please, on the record that I'm against that motion? Councillor Coghlan, would you like it noted as well?
Yep.
15.8. Oh, carried. Sorry, carried. Moving to 15.8.
Yeah, I'd like to recommend that council receives and accepts the confirmed minutes of the Audit and Risk Management Committee meeting held on the 12th of November 2025.
I'll second that.
All those in favour? 15.9.
Finance. Okay.
Director and worker are leaving the room due to a conflict of interest.
I recommend that council resolves to decline to grant a concession to the applicant under sections 120 1D and 121A of the Local Government Regulation 2012 in the form of a rebate of part of the overdue rates or charges levied on Lot 17 on Crown Plan MPH 22074, and that council further resolves to A, sell Lot 17 on Crown Plan MPH 22074 pursuant to section 142 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and B, delegate to the Chief Executive Officer its power to A, give a notice of intention to sell the land to all interested parties under section 143 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and B, take all further steps required under sections 141, 142, 143, 144, 145 and 146 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to effect the sale of the land.
Do I have a seconder?
It's seconded.
All those in favour? Carried. There being no further agenda items, the time is 11:55 and I now declare this ordinary meeting of council closed.